The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida. This is episode 15A of the Finding Florida podcast on the Florida Podcast Network. Manatee Madness in Crystal River, the preview.
Welcome to Finding Florida, the podcast that takes you from country to the coast. Join your tour guides, an unlikely pair, city girl Jemmy and country boy Glenn, as they explore the amazing sights and sounds of the Sunshine State.
Thank you all for joining us on this lead up to our 15th adventure of the Finding Florida podcast. We were invited by Discover Crystal River to experience manatees and check out their Manatee Festival and to eat ourselves silly.
And I think we can all say mission accomplished. So, all of the audio from that fun adventure of Manatee Fantasy will be on the next episode, 15B, and we really had so much fun. Here are a few quick clips.
Okay, if you be quiet, you'll get the orientation. Right. If you continue to talk, you're just going to ignore me.
God, I have to deal with him all the time, every day.
No, we don't.
Oh my gosh. I'm driving the boat.
Driving the boat. With a big old butt and an itty-bitty face, manatees are all over the place. I like a big butt.
Beyond Orlando, it can be hard to find Florida sometimes.
But on this episode, we're talking about Crystal River, which is a place defined by water and dedicated to the preservation and protection of a single species, the manatee. And then we'll get into a whole bunch of other fun Florida stuff, including a mystery sound, Florida travel tips, and Florida or not. Listen in.
Welcome to the sweet spot of Central Florida, just an hour north of Tampa Bay, in the heart of the Nature Coast. Citrus County is moving forward with a plan to offer people the opportunity to work, play, and live. But to see where Citrus County is going, you have to see where we came from.
Well, a little bbit about the history of Crystal River. There's evidence that Native Americans were there at 500 BC, and they abandoned it. We don't know why. So it was abandoned. Apparently, they have no evidence of people living there for a long time until European colonization. Following the Second Seminole War, settlers were encouraged into the area due to the passing of the Armed Occupation Act of 1842. So 22 men filed for patents for land in Crystal River. By the mid-1800s, families began to settle in the area. Following the Civil War, Crystal River started to grow. People from the states in the north began to arrive. Snowbirds showed up, attracted by the area's mild climate and potential of becoming wealthy growing citrus fruits.
Wait a minute. So snowbirds have been a pain in the butt since as far back as then?
1800s. You know what's interesting is we didn't see like one orange tree, but they were drawn to this area because of the citrus. And what had happened was the Spanish explorers brought their oranges and they discarded the seeds into the New World. All these trees grew up because it's made for oranges in our area. And that gave rise to the planting of citrus groves.
That is a species infestation I can get behind.
Yes, right. So Crystal River became a town in 1903. And it has very distinct communities in Crystal River. And we're going to get a friend of ours is going to explain that. And his name is Captain Broderick.
Love you, Captain Broderick.
He helped us out a little bit.
He was our Manatee tour boat captain.
Yep. And he also runs the Segway tours, so Crystal River Segway tours. And we're really bummed, Captain Broderick. Next time we're up, we're doing that because we love Segways.
I mean, for crying out loud, we just gave you a plug. I think you owe us.
So he did a video on the neighborhoods around Crystal River with his daughter. So let's take a listen.
My name is Broderick Jenkins, and I am the owner and operator of Crystal River Segway Tours. Michigan Town is a little community that was started in the late 20s and early 30s. Family came down from Michigan. They bought some property along the water's edge, and they found it to be such a nice place that they invited their friends and relatives down. And the next thing you know, you have these little bungalows all around the springs. Hunter Spring was recently remodeled by the city. They did a nice beach and kayak launch, which is open to the public.
Hunter Springs is really, the picture-perfect place.
The boardwalk is a semicircle, and a lot of times we'll see manatee as they pass by. The Riverwalk goes along the water's edge. It's absolutely beautiful.
And it's really an amazing place to be. It's beautiful. It adds a new spotlight to Crystal River.
We're with Miles from Discover Crystal River, and thank you very much for setting this whole weekend up. It's been so much fun so far.
Well, Miles, you don't know, but you made a total dream come true with me swimming with manatees. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
She was in heaven.
You know, we're the only place in Florida or in the United States where you can actually swim with manatees up close like this. There are a few other places you can be in the water with them in Florida, but generally you're encouraged not to be any closer than 50 feet away from them. And I think they were a little closer than that.
A little closer than that. I almost got a nice fat lip smooch from one of them. Yeah. So a little closer than that.
You know, how that works is the manatees don't see very well, but they feel you. The hairs on their body, they can feel you in the water before they see you. They're curious about what's in the water, so they swim up to you and want to see you.
They just want to see if you were lunch.
No. I'm sticking with the idea that I gave off a very special vibe.
That's right.
That's what it is. The Jemmy vibe.
And, probably your guide told you the best way to see a manatee is to act like a manatee and just kind of float and not splash around. Just kind of be there. And they'll think you're a manatee.
Which is great in theory, but when you first go in, you've never snorkeled before, there's a lot of splashing going around. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, Miles, everybody has a story of why they're in Florida and why they ended up in Florida. Why are you here, and did you come down for this job, or was there another reason?
Well, my wife, Alexis, is a native Floridian.
Your wife's name is Alexis?
Yes.
I love that.
Wait, that's what stopped you in your tracks? She's a native Floridian? Can we meet her, please? That's the unicorn.
You don't hear a lot of Alexises.
And she used to work on satellite and radio telemetry for manatees throughout the state.
Oh, wow.
What? She's smart.
We didn't want to live in Orlando. Nothing against Orlando, but where her parents live, but it's very congested there.
It is.
And we sort of like a small town life. And she remembered that Crystal River was that. And so we came to Crystal River, and shortly after I began working with the Visitors and Conventions Bureau. And that's how we ended up here. We're really happy we came.
Yeah, because you were saying this is your favorite place in Florida. I mean, why does it touch you so much? Why do you love it so much here?
Well, I think it's the manatees. Three Sisters Springs, there's no, for me, there's no better place to be on a cold winter morning than Three Sisters Springs.
We see why now. This is where we're recording from, and it's beautiful. It's quintessential. This is what you imagine Florida would have been like before everybody developed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. The springs, here are or at least Three Sister Springs is as clear as Silver Spring in Ocala and Blue Spring over in Volusia County, which I would say Three Sister Springs and Volusia's or Blue Spring in Volusia County are the two most important springs for wintering manatees in Florida. The record here at Three Sister Springs was 489 manatees in 2016. We had it just in this one spring, which is only about an acre in size. So
you could have walked across them.
I know, right? How did they?
It did look like that too. You would think you could
They're
walk
having a
across
party.
Oh, man. I mean, but yeah, the water is strikingly beautiful, crystal blue. I keep thinking of that movie, The Blue Lagoon, like that, or in Haiti, where my parents are from. You have crystal blue water like this. You don't see this very often. It is gorgeous. I mean, if there weren't manatee, I'd be like, come on, people, you got to see this anyways. But then there's manatee here, and it's this extra special gift. This place is so special.
Do you know what we hear most often, a lot,
when
people get on the boardwalk is, and usually it's younger people who say it is, they say, is it real?
Yeah. I get that. I get that. It almost looks like it's man-made. It does.
It does. It's
because it's too good to be true.
It's as clear as a swimming pool. It looks like it's off of a film set, someplace too perfect to exist.
No, Disney doesn't own this yet, but
or ever, if I might throw in my 2 cents.
Well, some people might think the Florida's favorite animal is a mouse, but it's actually a manatee.
I grew up in Florida. So, yeah, we're bred to love the manatee down here in Florida.
And, it's that public goodwill of Floridians toward the manatee that is their best defense for survival in years to come. So manatees are doing really well.
And why they're recovering.
Yes. For instance, there's a woman just a few feet from here named Joyce Clean, and she gets up in an airplane every year to participate in what's called the Synoptic Survey, which is usually happens over 2 days at the peak of winter, where planes are up in the air and they're taking photos of every place manatees would likely gather on a cold day in the state. And then they get a count from it. And when they did
is that how they do it?
Yeah. And then they did, the first year they did it was 1992, I think. And there were 1,295 manatees that they found. Last year when they did it, they found over 6,000 manatees.
Wow, that's a big increase.
That just shows you how quickly that arc has gone up, and that's what's allowed for them to go from being listed as an endangered species now to a threatened species. It doesn't change the protections that the manatees have. It's only a legal statement that the Endangered Species Act is beginning to have its effect and the species is in recovery. Its population is in recovery. You know, it's debatable whether now should have been the time for them to do that or not. You can talk to some scientists who would say, I think they were a little early on that. But the trend line is that manatees are recovering. Yeah.
So what else? Let's get away from manatees a bit.
Sure.
You're coming to Crystal River, and you've seen the manatees. Now, what do you do while you're here?
Well, we're an ecotourism destination, and if you look up ecotourism on Wikipedia, it'll say that two critical components of that mission are conservation and education. So the other thing is obviously if it's ecotourism, is you're probably outdoors. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely an outdoors destination. If you want to get in the water, be it with a manatee or with a scallop, or go fishing or go hiking, cycling, all of those things, we're really set up perfectly for that. I think more perfectly than any other county in the state of Florida.
And I'll just put it out there. I'll remind everybody, it's January, and we're outside in a park.
Yeah.
Enjoying it. I was swimming in the water.
Yeah, and all our listeners in the Northeast hate you right now.
Y'all need to come down to Florida if you aren't here.
And the wonderful thing, like I think not tonight, but tomorrow night, it'll be right at about freezing.
It's going to get
morning.
cold, yeah.
But then by the middle of the day, it's up to what it is
60,
now again,
yeah.
and you don't even need a jacket. You know?
We say if it gets cold in Florida, wait 2 days, it'll be 70 again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always 70 again. Yeah.
And Florida is so incredible, and I think what we bring is the natural Florida.
Yeah, you do. More than probably any place we've been to so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. That old nature with just the trees going right out of the water and that type of stuff. That's what you feel like when you're here. It just feels like old Florida. Vintage Florida. Vintage Florida.
One place you really get that is down the road a bit in Homosassa.
Yes.
Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. You take the boat ride into the head spring. And that was, when I came to Florida with my wife, when we were engaged, I didn't even know what a manatee was. I'd never heard of a manatee. The first place I saw a manatee was when she took me to Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. And it was it's kind of a life-changing thing.
What did you think when you first saw one?
I was amazed, and I've remained amazed. There's not a day that I don't come out here that I'm still not amazed. It's just it's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, we've been having a great time so far, and speaking of Homosassas and down that way, we did try to get into, because the other thing that's been around in Florida since Florida started, and the Seminole tribe was here, was Weeki Wachee, and we tried to get to see the mermaids, but they're closed.
Oh!
They're up close to renovation.
And I'll tell you why that was so special to me. We took a trip down here when I was a kid, like 5 or 6, and Disney was just Magic Kingdom. It was our first trip to Florida. We spent 2 weeks, and everybody went to Ocala, and then Silver Springs, and then came down and saw the mermaids at Weeki Wachee. It was a required thing when you came to Florida.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to lunch. Where are we going to lunch?
We're going to Seafood Cellar and Cafe, run by Cajun Jemmy and his wife, Sue Gertzel, and he is from Baton Rouge. She is from Chesapeake Bay, and somehow there's a fusion there of both those two preeminent traditions in seafood that comes together in this one little place.
Well, and my last name is Bear, and she lived in New Orleans for 4 years, so there you go.
We're going to be harsh critics.
I need some gumbo.
All right, well, let's get to
Where can you discover Crystal River?
You can find us on the web, obviously, at discovercrystalriverfl.com. Remember that FL, Discover.
Is there another Crystal River, by the way, in the rest of the country? There must be.
I don't think there is.
Thanks, Miles.
All right, thank you.
Crystal River it's a cute little gem on the West Coast, and we want people to be able to realize that this gem is absolutely gorgeous.
How were your holidays, Glenn?
Good. It seems like 12 months ago already.
I know, isn't it crazy? But people up north are like, we still got feet and feet of snow. Stupid Floridians. But anyways, there's this one story, holiday stories pop up on your social media feed, and I have to share this one because it made me laugh out loud. Jordan's godmother, her name is Kristen, and her father is my godfather. Okay, everybody follow along. Her father's Paul. Her mother's Barbara. I'm very close to the whole family is my point, right? So I saw this on Facebook, and so this is what Kristen wrote as a post. This is Jordan's godmother talking about her mother. So it says, Christmas dinner 2018 at our house. Mom, while in the kitchen, she says, "Oh no!" Everyone else in the house at once. What? Mom says, "I just put eggnog in the potatoes."
Might be good, actually.
and the post ends with, "Now she's calling them Christmas potatoes." I about died laughing. Like, oh my God, that's hilarious. I have to say that on the show. So, oh man. And we all have our Christmas mishaps. If you had any over the holidays, share them at FPN Insiders on Facebook. I'd love to hear them. But before we get to everything else that's going on in the state of Florida, we want to make just a couple of quick announcements. I want to tell you all that we actually have, drum roll, new shows in development on the network. Yay! We're very excited. So we've been, working on Florida Podcast Network and using our flagship show, this show, Finding Florida, to really get ourselves out there and meet everybody and make a name for the brand. And it's starting to pay off, guys. So we have a couple new shows in the works. So everyone stay tuned to our social media for details on that. We can't wait. One show is from a pair of independent podcasters already doing their thing. And one is of a local reporter from down here by me. And so I can't wait to bring them both on. So, we have a vision that this network is going to be about 20 shows, all celebrating different aspects of Florida. So looks like we are well on our way, Glenn. Aren't you excited? Yay. I'm so excited. But, you and I, we've been working so hard, and we met back in the day, 2 years ago, something like that, at Podfest in Orlando, which is a podcast conference. And it was just like the skies opened up and fate intervened. And I ran up to you, called you the wrong name, and we've been friends ever since. And years later, here we are doing a show and building a network together. So, gosh, that's Podfest. Multimedia Expo is where all this madness began. And I just want to give a shout out to what a wonderful place Podfest is.
Definitely. And I've been going for 4 or 5 years now since it started. And it's grown from 70 people in a little room in Tampa to in a little room in a little hotel by a strip club in Tampa.
It was little, guys, and there were strippers. Not in the thing, but
not in the thing, but next door. And now it's grown to we're at a major class hotel in Orlando.
Know. It's all upscale and stuff.
Yeah. And there's about 1,000 people there. If you're looking at getting into podcasting and you live anywhere near here, you're going to want to look at Podfest. If you go to podfestexpo.com, you can find all of the details. It's in March. Jemmy and I will be there. We're giving the opening talk.
The opening talk. We have keynote speakers on the main stage. That's right. And I'm doing a geolocal panel, which you're moderating, and you're also doing a panel on network. So there's lots of opportunities to see and meet us and pick our brains. And
if you're looking at getting into podcasting, you have to go to this. It's well worth it. Or even YouTubing. There's a whole session on YouTube as well. So
it's a Multimedia Expo. And there's a discount code, right?
Yes, podfestexpo.com, and use the discount code NewYear19, all one word, all caps, NewYear19, and you'll get 15% off.
Very nice.
And come out and see us. We'd love to meet all of you.
100%. And I hope I get to meet everybody at Podfest. But there's actually one more opportunity I want to talk about. I'm very excited. I've actually been invited to speak as a panelist at the Hispanic Radio Conference, like literally right after Podfest. It's like 3 days later. I'll be in Miami speaking about how radio stations and personalities can get into the podcasting space. So thank you to Ed Ryan of Radio Inc. magazine and the Podcast Business Journal for inviting me to be a panelist on that. I get to do it alongside our buddy Danny from Gamertag Radio. He is a Hall of Famer. Guys, okay, so y'all don't know
And he actually
this.
speaks Spanish, unlike you.
I know, unlike me. Help me out. Y'all don't know this, but Glenn was recently named as one of the most successful podcasters on planet Earth. You didn't think I was going to keep that from our audience, did you? And Danny Pena is a Hall of Famer. So I get to be on stage with the likes of those guys in March, and I'm very excited. So anyways, if you're not following us on social media already, please do. You get all the announcements about all this fun stuff. You can look us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, find FL Podcast. And you'll be able to follow not only our personal lives to a certain extent, but our adventures in real time. So we also want to thank all of you who send us comments. So whether it's on social media or you email us or put it on our website, whatever. Thank you so much. We got a couple of comments I just want to say real quick. So out of Ohio, there and back Stu wrote on Twitter, even if you don't live in Florida, this is still an awesome show. Well, thank you, Stu. Yay. We hope so. We hope it translates to some extent and maybe inspires people to come to Florida. And
then we received this message from Karen on Christmas Eve. We met her and her husband, Peter, in the parking lot of the Bonnet House. I just went up and started talking to them. They looked like they were there. They were having a picnic, so I
actually, if I remember correctly, they were like, "Oh, we like your shirts."
That's right. Yeah. They saw our shirts. That's right. We had that happen a couple times this weekend. And of course, we forced them onto their show. I stuck a mic in their face and said, "Well, you're going to talk to us. We're going to talk to you."
Exactly.
And apparently, it wasn't so bad an experience because we got this note from her. Karen said, "Hi, Jemmy and Glenn. We listened to our bit on your podcast and loved it. We laughed, especially as it took a while before Peter spoke." Oh, Karen, that's because you didn't let him speak. And we shared it with friends and family, and now we're home in the cold but dry England and looking forward to Christmas Day tomorrow. Just wanted to say thanks for adding something special to our holiday in South Florida and wish you and your families a special holiday. Who knows? Maybe we'll bump into you both again on our next trip. I'm sure we will.
Absolutely. You better let us know when you're coming to Florida again.
Hello to everybody in England.
That's right. That's right. It is so awesome to hear back from people, know that they're responding and they're enjoying the show. And man, we just really love it. And, I just want to tell you, I looked at our stats again. I don't obsess over our stats, but every once in a while I poke my nose in them. And can you guess how many countries this show has been listened to, Glenn?
I have no idea. You don't share any of the stats with me.
I know, I doubt. I keep it under lock and key. But this one's really cool. We have been listened in 62 countries, and that includes my family's homeland of Haiti, Sac Passe. I'm so excited.
Were you just swearing at him in Haitian?
No, Sac Passe means what's up in
okay. Just wondering. No. I keep saying Haitian. It's actually Creole.
Yes. Well, coming up next, we'll get into a whole bunch of other fun Florida stuff, and we'll do so right after this.
Flintstone Media has been the digital bedrock of several Florida brands and businesses, serving as a highly resourceful website and podcast production house since 2010. Ready to be seen? Flintstone Media has crafted the online presence for dozens of brands. In creating an intelligently built website that acts as your business's beacon, Flintstone Media will craft solid and attractive content to control your brand's message, collect visitor data, and showcase what you have to offer. Ready to be heard? Work with a leader in Florida's podcasting industry and add a podcast to your brand's content offerings. From setup through recording and distribution, Jemmy will lend her experience producing over 500 episodes and make the process of creating your show simple and easy for you. Visit flintstonemedia.com for website and podcast samples and to ignite your digital presence. That's flintstonemedia.com.
Guess what time it is, Glenn?
What time is it?
This time for us to find out more fun stuff about the state of Florida.
Different kinds of animals need different kinds of habitats. And here in Florida, we have a variety of lands that offer a home to animals of all kinds.
Well, we certainly had a lot of fun with manatees in this trip that everyone's going to hear about coming up on our next episode. But if someone has never seen a manatee before, I can understand how it could be a little bit alarming. I mean, they're really huge. They're massive, right? But do you want to hear the funniest reaction to a manatee ever? This is not the mystery sound, by the way. I want you to hear the funniest reaction ever to a manatee. Go ahead and play that first clip, please.
Where is it? Oh my God!
What is she looking at?
Right.
Oh my God!
She's in the water.
They're not scary looking. They're big, though.
Oh, man. I mean, it's such a good video. That is a tourist named Caroline who caught her own embarrassing complete meltdown freak out with her own selfie stick while she swam in the water. Oh, man. Well, my dive into manatee-infested waters was nowhere near as traumatic. And in fact, that's where we get this episode's mystery sound. I pulled it from the underwater footage that Adventure Tours took for us. So now, Glenn, I showed you this video that I pulled this from on the same day that we were under there. So asking if you know what this is might be more of an exercise in memory than anything else. I'm not sure if you're going to be allowed to guess, but we'll see. So you're going to have to kind of zone in and sort it out a bit. It's not the sound of the manatee eating, which was actually a mystery sound that we featured back on episode 7A that our buddy from this trip, Steve Heath, sent us back then. It's not that. It's not this mechanical sound of, it sounds like the video camera. Side note, by the way, it's really cool that you can hear that underwater. And it's not the sound of me breathing. Okay. It is this really high-pitched, screechy, squeaky sound that you hear in the middle of all that. So go ahead and play it. That's me breathing. That was a good one. Right at the end, you got it really good, you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Beak.
Yeah. Do you remember what that was?
I think I do, so I can't say.
Yeah, you can't say it, but I'm so happy that that this was caught on my video. I can't believe it. So anyways, if you have any guesses as to what that could be.
And Steve is exempt.
I know, Steve, you're not allowed to guess. And, we'll let you.
Captain Broderick, you're out too.
Captain Broderick's out. Stephanie, we'll let you guess. You can still guess. But Steve, you're out. So, but the first to email me at Jemmy, Jaime, at FloridaPodcastNetwork.com with the right answer will win a piece of Finding Florida Podcast swag. So we're going to play it again. So listen up. And like I said, be the first person to email me and you'll get some swag. Here's that clip one more time. Today, I'm going to solve two of our biggest travel woes, Glenn. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, you know how we go on all these adventures and they're so much fun, but traveling does come with its own issues, right? Airplanes are full of germs and you got to deal with traffic, blah, blah, blah. Well, the first issue we're going to deal with today is tolls. I love the turnpike, but man, those tolls are crazy. Sometimes
It costs us to go back and forth between our houses about $20.
I mean, and it adds up with all the running back and forth that we have to do. I mean, there's some times when I'll be driving, and this actually just happened on this last trip. I'm driving along, minding my own business, and then I get an alert on my phone from SunPass saying, we just renewed your credit. I'm like, there's another charge, $25 down the drain. So yeah, but no matter what road you're traveling on in Florida, it just, man, the tolls can be anywhere. Tolls. But I have a brilliant solution to this problem. Okay, so here's what you do. All you have to do is just MacGyver a little shield to the back of your car and hook it up with a remote control. And then you just click that button and fold that little shield right down over your license plate and just zip right on through.
And then wait to be arrested on the other side.
That travel tip is free right there, guys. Travel tip is free. Just know, if you do this, you run the risk of having happened to you what happened to Robert Craig Davis 70 years old, of Key Largo. He was caught by the Highway Patrol. Apparently, Highway Patrol had been trying to catch this guy for a year. Posting surveillance images of his minivan on social media and stuff. But Lieutenant Alejandro Camacho, I apologize if I didn't say that right, but he just happened to be in the right place at the right time this past November. So if you click the link, you'll see what he saw. And I will post this video in the show notes so you all can see, because there's no audio here.
Okay, so now that we're watching from the camera in the cop car.
Mm-hmm, the dash cam.
And we're following the minivan. Looks like a caravan.
Yeah. Pay attention to that
here's
license
the
plate.
toll. Oh, and the license plate has a little... it has a little cover that came down and covered it up. Oh, and now he's smart. He's waiting. Oh, and there goes the little cover back up. All caught on police video.
All caught on video. So needless to say, he got pulled over, finally got caught. And when he searched his car, Lieutenant Camacho actually did find a SunPass transponder in there, but it was...
Apparently it was turned off.
Even more. It was kept... Robert had it kept in his glove box inside of a signal blocking bag. So he had it on him, but there was no way
he was serious. Did they have any idea how many thousands of dollars he had saved?
I don't know, but I'm sure they have it in their records and they can go back. Because like I said, they posted all the surveillance, so I'm sure they have it all racked up. But he spent a night in jail and he was charged with organized fraud and cheating. I didn't even know it was a charge, but along with the misdemeanor of...
Is there unorganized fraud?
I don't know. But he was also
That'd be me. I'd get charged for unorganized fraud.
You'd be disorganized fraud. That's what disorganized fraud. Yeah, and he also got charged with misdemeanor petty theft. So I guess that didn't total that much, but needless to say, this is a travel tip, guys. You don't want to try. We don't condone
you and I could save thousands of dollars a year this way.
Don't condone it. All right. So that travel tip, like I said, was free. So is this one. So next up is the plight of germs. How much does avoiding like ick and gross germs become part of your travel routine, Glenn?
When I'm in airports, I must wash my hands 50 times. I just washing my hands all the time.
You live
I didn't used to be that way, but I eat preventatives before, after. I didn't used to be that way, but now that I get sick more often with the Lyme disease, I have to be really careful that I don't catch a cold because it affects me worse.
That's true. And I have one little baby lung, so I can't get too sick either.
Yeah, that's right. You got one lung left. So between the two of us, we're a whole person.
I know. So I do the preventatives too. I always have hand sanitizer on me. I'm not obsessed with it, but as many like gas pumps as we touch, I always have some in the car. But do you ever think about your hotel room?
Oh, I try not to, actually. I really try not to.
The linens.
We were in pretty good shape this last weekend, but some of the hotels we've stayed at along the way,
a little little bit sketchy. So they can be so full of germs too. Well, Glenn, let me introduce you to something called the CleanseBot. Go ahead and click that other link.
Okay.
CNN, ABC News, CBC, Inside Edition, and more have all reported on the scary amount of bacteria and germs in hotel rooms. The CleanseBot is a pocket-sized smart robot designed to sanitize and disinfect any surface, including your bed and blankets, using UVC light. CleanseBot is the first all-in-one cleaning robot that you can take on all of your adventures. With built-in artificial intelligence, 18 sensors, and 3 different modes.
Okay, let me just stop it right there and describe what's happening.
Yeah, describe what it is.
It's this little disc. It's like maybe 5 inches across.
Yeah,
it's like 5 inches across. It's like you're right. It's like one of the sweeper ones.
Yeah.
And he put it on the bed, has this lights on the bottom, and it has wheels, and it's rolling under the sheets. All on its own. And then he put it on top of the bed, and it's rolling around on top of the bed.
So it has lights that come out from the bottom and from the top. They're UV lights, and they just kill the germs as it rolls along. It goes under your sheets, under the pillow.
It's kind of creepy in a way. Let me see what else he says.
The CleanseBot might just be the smartest thing you pack. In under blanket mode, you just put your CleanseBot on the bed, touch one button, and let it sanitize and disinfect your bed, and never fall off.
It doesn't.
In handheld mode, Just pick up your CleanseBot and the sensors will detect your hand. And use the bottom UVC lights to disinfect light switches, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, cell phones. Instead of having to pack another device, the CleanseBot has a power bank mode with flash charging for faster charging times.
So it's your cleaner and your phone charger.
Institute of Health, Columbia University, and Time, as well as many others, have shown how UVC light kills 99.99% of bacteria, germs, and mold, and can even fight the spread of airborne viruses.
All right, well, you get the picture.
Yeah, and apparently a few other did too, because this is on Indiegogo, and they raised $1,351,000. It's 39,000% funded.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people that don't.
Wow.
These aren't cheap either. I mean, the cheapest one was $100.
But it sounds worth it. I mean, people go to all kinds of lengths to keep themselves from getting sick. And
we always have to get 2 rooms. So we.
No, do they sell them in pairs for a discount?
No, it's twice the price of the one. But you know what?
But anyways, that's the CleanseBot. I thought it was pretty cool. So all you need to do to get your travel adventures a little bit cheaper and a little bit cleaner is to get a license plate shield that's remote controlled and avoid the detection with the cops, and then get a CleanseBot, and you're all set for your travels. Those are your travel tips today.
Honest to God, we need the CleanseBots. We should be ordering that.
We really should. Well, it is time for Florida or Not. This has to be my favorite segment that I do every one of these preview episodes, because I get to put you on the spot, Glenn, and have you figured out whether or not this story comes from Florida or not. And this time we have 3. So I'm going to start off with something that is just, well, you have to see it to believe it, okay? So they say you can't take it with you when you go, anything. You got to leave your possessions behind when you leave this earth. But that doesn't mean you can't make one last final statement. And for those of you who want to leave life with as much sparkle as you lived it, well, the Glitter Coffin Company offers caskets that are anything but understated. Go ahead and refresh that window, Glenn, so you can see it for yourself.
Do I want to?
I don't know.
Oh my God, it's Liberace's coffin.
I know, right? That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
It really is a sparkly coffin.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting the pictures in the show notes, but just so you know.
It's been bedazzled.
But totally bedazzled. The glitter comes in a wide array of colors. It comes in lilac, ice blue, rose gold, silver, pink, black, gold, purple, blue. Oh, I mean, a ton of colors, guys. It's going to match your effervescent style. As you can see, these coffins, they really shine. So, Glenn, I'm going to ask you,
sparkly.
Do you think the Glitter Coffin Company is located in Florida? Is this Florida or not?
It has to be, yes.
Wrong.
Wrong.
This is not ours. I know.
Let me guess, Vegas.
No, the UK.
Oh, really?
I know. I thought the UK, like British were like kind of understated. Maybe not. I guess not, because this is definitely not an understated way to leave this world. That's for sure. So, nope, UK. All right. You ready for the next one?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So
I never get these right.
So, you know that moment when you set yourself up to do something and you're like, I'm going to just nail this, right? You know, write a paper, dance something or whatever. Go on the show and do a podcast, whatever it is. But instead of succeeding, it's just an epic fail. Has that ever happened to you, Glenn?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah, me too. I remember this one time exactly.
They're probably more than the successes,
That's
actually.
Probably true. I remember one time I was trying to jump over, don't ask me why, it's a whole nother story, but I was trying to jump a canal in college and ended up in the canal. So it happened.
Well, we all know why that happened.
It's not pretty. Well, imagine having a moment like that, and we can all sympathize, but imagine having a moment like that as a would-be attacker. You're probably thinking, oh man, I'm in the perfect location. I've spotted the perfect limping old man target, and I've been practicing my punches. I am totally going to nail this. What could go wrong? Well, what if that would-be victim isn't quite so perfect after all? Let me introduce you to Steve Shepard. Go ahead and play that first clip.
We begin tonight with a victim fighting back. A would-be thief gets a hard lesson when he picks on the wrong guy.
The victim, a 68-year-old kickboxing champion, gave this criminal a painful surprise. News Channel 5's Amy Lipman tells the story.
If anyone knows how to throw a punch, it's Steve Shepard. His punches have landed him some pretty big titles.
I was a world champion in 5 weight divisions.
Here's Shepard in one of his personal favorite fights.
My claim to fame is I beat the guy who knocked out Mike Tyson.
Oh, okay. Well,
So, needless to say,
picked on
probably
the
not the right.
wrong right now.
Okay, play the rest of the story.
He doesn't have to go to jail. He's already been beat up.
These days, he typically reserves his skills for the punching bags and Kickbox Superfit, the gym he opened up in with his brother, Ed Shepard. But after grabbing tacos late Thursday afternoon, Shepard says he was the one who suddenly got hit.
He hit me from behind in the eye.
That's when Shepard says the man started demanding his phone.
Give me your effing phone.
Then instinct took over, and Shepard started doing what he does best.
I hit him with what's called the right cross as he was still coming at me.
He believes he was targeted because he's walking with a limp at the moment from a pulled muscle.
He clearly, picked me because of that.
Shepard says his attacker managed to get up and run away.
I'm sure I broke his ribs.
But he also left with a sucker punch of a lesson.
What he learned was he picked on the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Like out of everybody you choose a world champion kickboxer.
I kind of feel sorry for him.
He's hurt on that guy, huh?
Oh, man. Talk about a bad day at work.
Yeah.
You mind your own business, go to attack somebody, turns out to be a kickboxing
Maybe he'll reconsider
champion.
his occupation choice. No.
All right. So the attacker and the hero
Florida.
victim. You're going with yes?
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, he is from right kind of down by me, West Palm Beach, Florida. So, well.
Getting to one of the 5,000 taco trucks on the corners of.
There's so many. Well, congratulations, Steve Shepard. You're our hero today. So,
But
okay.
another one, too, did you hear about this? I thought about you because your son is taking Taekwondo now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was another one recently, too, that the woman got attacked.
Yes.
It was like Taekwondo or something.
Yes.
It's corrupt.
She was being attacked and she ran
In front of everybody at the window. This guy attacks her, and of course, the 2 instructors decided to help out. And I saw the mugshot of the guy and his entire face.
I'm sure it wasn't pretty. I'm sure it was not pretty.
Watch where you are. You don't do it in front of a Taekwondo place, and you don't do it in front of the police station.
And
There's
you don't
2
do
places.
it to a kickboxing champion. All right, that's a good point. Okay, and last but not least, our third story. Now, sadly, I don't have any audio or video from this last one because, I mean, if any story needed it, it's this one, but I couldn't find it. So, police were called out to a Walmart. I have to have a Walmart
Florida.
store. Okay. So they were called to respond to an unruly customer. So what was her disturbance, do you think? Any guesses? Unruly customer at Walmart.
She changed right in the aisle and started trying on clothes without going into the dressing room. That
is not crazy enough for Walmart. Have you not been in a Walmart? No. So it wasn't just that she had commandeered one of their electric scooters and just been driving around the parking lot with it all day. No, it was also what she was doing while she was driving the electric scooter. Drinking wine. Okay. Now, people make fun of those who drink the boxed wine. But this lady's not even classy enough for that, okay? No. Have you ever heard of canned wine, Glenn?
I have seen canned wine.
You have seen
Is
canned
she
wine.
the one person that drinks it?
Well. Her wine was still not even good enough for a regular can. She was drinking wine unlike I've never seen before. Guess what kind of can she was drinking her wine out of, Glenn?
I have no idea.
A Pringles can.
Of course.
She's driving around on an electric scooter that does not belong to her. On an electric scooter, drinking wine out of a Pringles can. Now, here's the kicker, right? As if that wasn't enough. So the news reports that employees called authorities about her at 9 a.m. Friday and told police that she had been there since 6:30 in the morning. So this woman started early.
Oh, really? No, she never finished.
She never finished?
No.
Oh, my God. Needless to say, she is banned from the Walmart forever.
Yeah, no kidding.
So do you think that Walmart and this
it
lovely
It
lady...
had to be.
No, we do not claim her. She is...
Yeah. Alabama.
Oh, that's a good second guess, and you're getting closer. But no, Texas.
Really?
Texas. I know. Actually, when I first saw the glitter coffins, I thought maybe that was Texas because they like their go big or go home kind of a place. But no, this one was in Texas. So we're not the only ones doing it wrong. Apparently, sometimes we do it right because the only good person in this story came from Florida. Again, thank you, Steve Shepard. Well, thanks again, as always, for coming along with us as we are finding Florida. There's just so much to do in the town of Crystal River, and you just got a sneak peek into our fun adventure episode there that will be coming out next. You hear us get out onto the water as our friend and FPN insider Steve takes us out on his boat, and I dive with manatees. We eat ourselves silly, all kinds of really fun stuff coming out in the very next episode, 15B.
And for our adventure next month, we head to the Miami Boat Show. We'll be checking out everything about Florida's boating industry and one of the largest boat shows in the world. Boats, yachts of all sizes and gear and all kinds of stuff. And thanks to our good friend Stacy, the managing editor of Boat US magazine, we'll be taking their on-water training course.
It should be fun, and we can't wait to take you, our listeners, along with us. And as with every episode, you can find our pictures, videos, and other updates on social media. Just head to findingfloridapodcast.com for all the links or search for Find FL Podcast. Like, share, and please leave us some comments. And remember to join our group of Florida Podcast Network enthusiasts on Facebook by looking up FPN Insiders.
And here's to your next Florida adventure.